packed with blood. Gemara says teku. It's left unresolved. And now in those certain countries, they have a law that they need to shoot the animal after the shechita. In Australia, they did that. So they have a type of gun that it's not even it just goes in and out. This piece just just shoots. It's not like a bullet that exits. It's just I don't know what it is.
It's like a bolt.
A bolt that comes out and then it goes back. Now, people were saying, oh, it could be a shaila. There's all types of shailas with that. I think the main shaila was this Gemara here, that you're causing trauma to the animal before it's dead. It could affect the malicha. It's not an issue of trephus. It's an issue of malicha. That it could be you can't salt it afterwards because the blood doesn't drain properly.
Wait, that was done before or
after the shechita? After the shechita. So the animal's kosher, right? Did the shechita? Yeah. But the only thing is, it's still convulsing, and because right then they stun the animal, we're learning here that if you break the neck of the animal, even after the shechita, it affects the way the blood will drain from the animal, and it's going to get reabsorbed. The blood is going to get absorbed in the meat. So we said it's stealing from the customer because it's going to weigh more. So we're saying that besides for that, it could be that it's also going to affect the malicha. There's going to be too much blood there.
Why didn't they? He explains here very interesting. He says, why would Shmuel say that it's because Rishon goes to Savrius? A much more strict thing would be that it's not kosher or the milk was not good. Why would he? To compare Goizel Sabrius to eating non-kosher, the meat is not.
Which one is worse?
We're talking about Chullin. We're talking about.
So how did they answer?
So they say Maseres Hashas has a different version in the text. Based on that version, there's no question. It's only about the stealing the brias. But the whole question has nothing to do with.
Excellent.
Because it's a good question. I mean, it makes logic.
That's excellent.
Why would he say? No, I'm
that's
reading
excellent.
English.
It's an excellent point.
Really
The Maseres Hashas. Thank you. Maseres Hashas brings the text of our Gemara is different in the Rif and in the Rush.
In the Rashi, yeah, Rashi.
And Rashi also.
So this is Rashi's text.
So in their text, the question was, are you allowed to eat it raw? Because raw meat, we said you're allowed to eat, even without salting, because it's dam evarim shalei pirish. It's the blood is inside the meat, and it was never extracted. What's the problem? Why do we salt? Because when you cook the meat, the blood goes out and goes back in. But if you eat it raw, you're not doing that. So here, we're asking, what about this type of meat? The blood gets reabsorbed. So is this considered dam evarim shalei pirish? Is this considered blood that never left, or is this considered blood that was re-entered? And then are you allowed to eat it raw? But everyone would agree that if you salt it, it would be fine. That's not the question. Yeshika, thank you. The Mishnah says, someone that puts poultry with cheese on the table doesn't violate a negative prohibition. Seems a little obvious. Rashi explains that the point of this Mishnah is the diuk, which the Gemara is going to say. Ha'achloi. But if he eats poultry with cheese, that would be a biblical prohibition. See, poultry with milk is daraisa.
Because
it says on the table. Because if you put it on the table, you don't violate it.
He's using his own proof to prove his point.
Well, where the Gemara is proving that this opinion in the Mishnah holds that if you would eat it, it would be a biblical prohibition.
How do we know?
It's Rabbi Akiva.
Well, because it says loisasei. It says einabal de loisasei.
Right.
if it was just on the table, if it was just a derabanan on the table, it'd say you don't violate anything. And then we'd say, but if you eat it, you do violate something. The Gemara would have said, okay, is it a deraisa derabanan? We don't know. That's a derabanan.
If we say it's a deraisa, you have to do a pasuk.
Okay, so one second. So the Gemara now says, Eima hamala seifim gvin al shulchan ein al bali. They like to say it's exactly the opposite. What it's telling you is that don't worry. If you put cheese on the table, you won't even come to a light to say even if you eat it. Okay. Now let's see. It's not so pashut. Let's go further. Basar behema Torah, b'chala behema Torah. Kosher meat with kosher milk. Milk from a kosher animal. Asal lavashal, you're not allowed to cook it. Basar ba'anan, you can't have benefit from it. Loss of benefit would mean that you can't sell it, you can't feed it to your animals, you can't use it as other things, for hand creams or whatever. You can't give it as a gift. Basar behema Torah, b'chala behema tmeya. Let's say you have kosher meat, but you have non-kosher milk. Basar behema tmeya, b'chala behema Torah. Let's say you have non-kosher meat, but you have kosher milk. That's mutal lavashal mutar ba'anan. That you're allowed to cook and you're allowed to have benefit from. Now, I wasn't clear when I said kosher meat. I have to just explain that we're talking about an animal that's a non-kosher animal like a pig. There's many different types of non-kosher. I'm not talking about a cow that wasn't shechted. I'm talking about a non-kosher animal.
That's what it says Tamei and Tahora.
Tameya, right. Now, Rabbi Akiva says, Chayav ha'ifeinu min ha'Torah. Rabbi Akiva says that a wild animal and a bird are both not together with milk, are both not biblically prohibited. Shenemar, it says in the pasuk, Leisavashal gedi b'chalivim agimel pam. It says 3 times, don't cook a kid in its mother's milk. Prat lechaya, lo'if, behemet meya. Why does it say 3 times? It's coming to exclude 3 things: a wild animal, a poultry, and a non-kosher animal. Those 3 don't have the prohibition of basar oif b'chalav. Now, Taisus here mentions by basar behemet tmei b'chalav that basar oif, according to the first opinion, is asur min ha'Torah. It's biblically prohibited. So there is an opinion in the Mishnah that poultry with milk is a biblical prohibition.
Elsewhere it says Eily 3 times is because it's for 3 times not to eat, not to cook, not to have enough.
Right. So
we're using the same.
That's the Leis Savashal. No, there's different words. Here we're using the Gedi aspect.
Right.
The other one is the mouse.
Gedi, not a chaya, Gedi, not a knife, and a Gedi, not a behemoth tmeya. That was the Leis Savashal 3
word
times.
within the pasuk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rabbi Eily Aimer. Then we get the letters too. Rabbi Eily says, "Nemer leis leichul kol nevela, v'nemer leis savashal gedi b'chalivim." It says in the same pasuk, don't eat any nevela and don't cook a kid in its mother's milk. Es she'asam mishum nevela. Anything that's prohibited because of nevela, asal lavashal b'chalav. You're not allowed to cook with milk. Oif she'asam mishum nevela. What about bird, poultry? That's asam mishum nevela. If it dies, it's a nevela. Yachal yasal lavashal b'chalav. Maybe it should be prohibited to cook biblically with milk, poultry with milk. Talmalaymer b'chalavimai, with its mother's milk. Can't miss that word. Yatsa oif she'en like chalavein. A bird doesn't, its mother doesn't have milk, so that shouldn't be prohibited. Well, he's accepting it. He's accepting.
Rabbi Akiva's opinion, but
He learns it from a different place.
Right, but Rabbi Akiva said chaya knife. He doesn't have the chaya aspect. He just has that. Minani Mili, from where do we know that all animals go under the same category? Because we said gidi, a kid. What about, we didn't say a sheep, right? So, Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amar Krar. Rabbi Lazar brings a pasuk. It says, "V'yishlach Yehudas gediya izim." Kan gedi izim, hakol makom shenemar gedi stam afilu para v'rachel b'mashva. When Yehuda sends to Tamar, who was on the side of the road, he didn't recognize her, so he sends to find her. He sends gediya izim, a kid of the goat family. So it says the word gedi, and it adds the word of the goat family. Now, that tells me that it has to add that word. That means that, because if it would have just said a kid, then it would have meant any animal, any young animal is a kid. So why does it over there does it say izim? Because over there that was specific. He sent that. If it doesn't say it, if it's just plain unspecified gedi, then it could mean all the animals. Para, v'rachel, a cow or a sheep. The Gemara says v'leilaf minei. Why don't we use that as a precedent? That over there that would teach me that everywhere else it's over there it says gedi izim, just like over there it's gedi izim. Everywhere it says gedi, it means gedi izim. The Gemara says kasav krachrina. Ksiv Karachrina, we have another pasuk. Bais Iris Gedi Izim. This is by Yaakov when his mother suggests that he put the skins on his the skin on his arms so he feels more hairy. So over there it says also the Gediya Izim, the skins of the kid goat. Kan Gediya Izim. Over here it's a kid goat. Hakol Makom Shnemer Gedi. Stam, but anywhere where it just says plain gedi, afilu para v'rachel b'mashma, then it would mean even a cow or a sheep. The Gemara says v'leilaf minei, so why don't you learn from that? And everywhere else it says no. Havalu shnei ksub ma'abam ke'echad. You see, the way we do a binyan av is we have one place in the Torah, and that's teaches us to everywhere else. It's a comparison that's like a precedent that tells me everywhere else it's like that. That's only if it does it once. But if it does it twice, then why would it do it twice? I already had a precedent to teach me everywhere else. The fact that it does it a second time tells me that I can't learn from that. And those are two anomalies. Those are unique. Everywhere else, it's regular. Everywhere else, it doesn't mean that. Those are the strange ones.
Well, you have a lot of mitzvahs that are repeated, like in Sefer Devarim, that were already said. The repetition doesn't mevatel the first.
Yeah. So here, over here we're doing something else. Over here, we're looking for a translation of a term that we could translate different ways. So we know here it was specified what the translation is. Doesn't mean that that's the translation of it over there as well. Over there it doesn't say anything. So if it says it once, then we would say we have a binyan av. That is, it tells me what about everything else. But if it says it twice, then obviously the first one wasn't a binyan av, or it wouldn't have had to do it twice, right? Okay. Well, it says Havalu shnei ksub ma'abam ke'echad. It's two verses that come together. V'chol shnei ksub ma'abam ke'echad ein malamdim. And anytime you have two verses that come together, you can't learn from that. That means they're teaching the same lesson. Gemara says Han ichalaman damrein malamdim. Okay, apparently there's a machlekes if this is accurate. If we actually say ein malamdim when you have two of the same teachings. So it works out well according to the one that says ein malamdim. You can't learn from that because it does it twice. Alamandam or malamdim, but according to the one that says that if it does it two times, it's not a problem. Ma'yikil meimar. We should learn that it's only kid goats that are aser for chalav. So it says trei miyute ksiv, ksivi, izim ha'izim. We have an extra limitation. We have an extra way of rejecting that, of saying that it's that over there it's izim and not anywhere else because it says ha'izim, the goats. And that tells me that it's only over there and not in other places. Okay, Omer Shmuel. Shmuel says this is going to be frustrating because you don't like to use the same pasuk twice. Watch this.
No, but
Now it's going to get hyper mode.
Gedi, a kid. It's the same in Hebrew and in English. Gedi, kid. Gedi is kid. Right. The Rabbi says ha chelev. It's including the fat. So fat, chelev b'chalav is aser. Right? Fat with milk is prohibited. Gedi, it says again gedi, because it says 3 times. The Rabbi says a mesa, that's including if you cook meat that wasn't slaughtered, it just died. And you take that meat and you cook it with milk. So nevela with milk is aser. There goes getting the maid from McDonald's sandwich, a cheeseburger, because it's nevela with milk. Right? Gedi, l'Rabbi says sashlil. Gedi is coming to include also the fetus. That the fetus with milk is prohibited. We had all types of leniencies with the fetus, but one of them is not cooking it with milk. Who brought me those papers? Someone brought me some papers about in Australia. The Ben Pekua. They brought. This was one of the things that they were trying to get was to figure out how to have milk and meat, and there was some sort of mistake in that. Remember that it was.
Yeah, I mean the milk was powered, but the meat wasn't powered.
Right.
That was their Hapamina.
So here the Gemara says that the meat is meat. The fetus is meat. Gedi lahitzias adam. Now we're doing some exceptions. The Gedi is coming to exclude blood. That blood with milk is not a problem. You can't eat it, but it's not considered meat. Basar b'chalav. Gedi lahitzias ashilya. Gedi is coming to exclude the placenta. That's not considered meat. And Gedi lahitzias atmeya. A kid is coming to exclude a non-kosher animal. Okay. Now we go to b'chalei v'imai with its mother's milk. B'chalei v'imai, its mother's milk, b'lei b'chalav zachar, but not if it would be a male. Not if there's a male. It doesn't have to be its mother. That was just natural. If someone had an animal, it would be his mother's milk. But any milk is the same halacha. But if you would get milk from a male animal, which is a strange thing, but I guess it could happen. So that milk is not considered real milk. It's mother's milk, but not milk from a slaughtered animal. That we learned about the kal, the uterus. The udder. The udder. After, if you take it off, and there's still milk in the ducts there, that we said is not biblically considered milk, as we say here. B'chalev imay, in its mother's milk, v'lei b'chalev tmeya, and not in the milk of a non-kosher animal like a pig or something. The Gemara asks the obvious question: Hatlasa gedi ksivi, v'anan shita darshinan. It only says gedi 3 times, and you just told us 6 things from it. So the Gemara says Ksav Shmuel. We're going to go through. We're going to eliminate some of them. Shmuel holds Isser Chalal Isser. Rashi takes out this text right here. But whatever it is, v'Isser Chela v'Meisa Mechad Kran Nafki. We can take away one of them because Chelev and the Nevela is learned from one pasuk. Now Dam Nami Lav Gedihu. For the blood we don't need a pasuk. And V'Shilyanami Pirsha Ba'almahu. And for the placenta, that's not even, we don't need a pasuk for that either. So Pashal Litrei, but we still have one extra one. Chad Rabbi says a shlil, v'chad l'muti behema tmeya. One is including the placenta, and one is excluding a non-kosher animal.
Shlil is the
I'm sorry,
fetus.
the Rabbi says shlil, the fetus. Thank you. The placenta, we said we didn't need a pasuk. So one is including the fetus, and one is excluding the non-kosher animal. Okay, we'll have to leave it there.
Welcome,
Rabbi Smith Sr. from Eretz Israel.
Tomorrow morning,
Very nice.
same time.
You go straight from Chaim Guma's house tonight to the Snap Share.
Oh, is there a party?